The Shift the Narrative campaign, just want to shout out Christy Fries and Catherine Ross for getting this together. I'm really excited because it's all about really showcasing the true story of senior living communities, getting away from that outdated public perception. And when Catherine Ross nominated Unlike Health, the first group that came to mind about how we're shifting this narrative is my friends with the Arbors and Ivy. So today I have Sarah Robertson, we got Bri LaChapelle, and Ally. I'm going to butcher this. I'm so sorry, but Ally oh, you guys say it. I'm going to mess up. Go ahead. I got nervous.
I believe in you. It's Ally Montemagni.
This is the group I really want to highlight, shifting the narrative, because the work you're doing, the passion, the heart that you have for this work, and there's a lot of history that backs up what we're doing here. So I'm going to go back into this partnership and how it began. Sarah, you and I met at Smash in 2024, and it just started as a conversation, and it goes from a casual conversation to a very intentional partnership. And we're very grateful for that. And it also shows the power of this community, right?
Yeah,
that you can go to a conference and really form partnerships that's going to grow. And I think the cool thing about partnerships, and why this is a big part of the conversation about shifting the narrative, is we get to learn from one another. And there's an abundance of opportunities. And I always go back to what Brad Bushby told me, which is we don't compete against each other. We compete against people aging in isolation. And we ultimately need to all show up and give it our very best. And what I'm excited about with this conversation is we get to bring in one of the Arbor and Ivy's other partners, which is Ally. Sarah, tell us more about the Arbors and Ivy and really what highlights you all as doing something special in this space.
We are a third generation family business. I think our story is a little bit unique. We have been in business for about 27 years now. Started with the Arbors Assisted Living. We have since grown to 9 communities. We have the Ivy Assisted Living communities in Connecticut. We opened our own home care agency in 2010. And then in 2024, right around the time that I met you, we launched the Aging Parents Solution business, which is case management in senior education. We met you at a time where we were really starting to lean into the changes that we saw on the horizon of senior living. And we really saw where it was going and what direction, and that we really needed to jump on the bandwagon in order to be in alignment with not only our messaging, but with where the industry was going in general. And that was really important to us. And I think that our family, letting our family serve your family, it is very unique, and we are hands-on and we are in our business every single day, meeting with residents and meeting with our families, and Ally can talk to that, but we are 100% involved every single day in everything we do.
Going back to the website side, a lot of the work that we really put into it was really focusing on not just driving more traffic, but really meaningful engagement. And I love that foundation we set, really prepare for the future. And like you said, there's an evolution going, and we need to be on the forefront of that. But I think what really makes this stand out is Ally's work. And I'm going to take a step back. When we were discussing some of this, the social media, the videography, and the photos, and I'm so glad that Ally joined this conversation, because I do think it really takes that story element to that next level. So Ally, please tell us more about what you're doing.
I support a lot of the storytelling for the Arbors. So I own my own business, Freetide Creative. And so they noticed a void in some of that storytelling and really hearing from the residents, from the families, from the team, because the marketing team wears a lot of hats. So to be able to go out to each facility across the state and Connecticut and go in and have meaningful time with the residents, hear from them. They tell me they feel like movie stars when I come in and I set up the video. I put on a nice shirt. They're so excited to tell their story. The families, they get moved to tears at times. So it really means a lot to be able to come in and bring the stories to life. I think that's probably one of the most important parts of marketing, especially in an industry like this, because families are trusting their loved ones and they want to feel safe and supported and cared for. So to see actual families saying it and residents saying it, and just the team members and the passion that they bring that to life versus just showing the services, but really telling the story. It also is special because my grandmother actually is a resident. So I'm part of the family as well. So I also see it from the lens of a family member and what my mom goes through and the trust that she has and how certain team members are her rock. So I get to see it full circle, which means a lot.
You're doing some great work. And when I look on Instagram and I look on LinkedIn and telling that story of really, I go back to the let our family take care of yours. You are doing a great job of really promoting that and showcasing what life looks like. Bri, we spoke to Sarah, spoke to Ally. I feel like you're the one that gets all of this together and makes it happen. I saw one of your newsletters on LinkedIn. Newsletter title is Real Stories, Real Families. And I love that. So I love to get your feedback of how you're taking all this information and make sure that families are connecting.
Absolutely. I think that Sarah, a lot of the work that Sarah and I do together for digital marketing is data driven, right? So we are looking at the numbers, we're looking at the visitors on our website, we're trying to figure out what people want to engage with, what they want to see, what types of stories, what types of content. So that's really where Ally comes in, where she can support a lot of the work that we do on the digital forefront, where she is able to share her photos, her videos, and in a way where we're able to share it on the website, where people are visiting, they're searching, they're looking around for assisted livings, they're shopping. It's the world that we live in now. So I think as soon as they do visit our website, they will get a true understanding of who we are as a business and what our culture really is all about. It really is family taking care of family. Sarah and Emily and Amy, they are out there at the events, shaking hands, giving hugs, meeting with families, just mingling. And it's true. It really is. It's the real stories, real people, and real experiences that we're just really trying to share with other people, letting them know who we are and what we're all about.
And I think all this starts with authenticity, right? You can't fake this. You have to really lean in and understand really what that value is and highlight that. And as you were speaking, Bri, I was thinking about really the search, then the story, then build a trust. And it really goes in that. You want to make sure that you're pulling in that high intent traffic, setting the stage where people can find you and move to those next steps. But bringing in what Ally's working on, then you're telling that story and really showcasing what life could look like. Now, I'm going to transition because Sarah, you mentioned the aging parents, and I think that's such an important element as we are now working on bringing the aging parent solution into the conversation, as well as your home health services.
We're about to embark on a massive shift in the industry, right? We have about 75 million baby boomers coming our way. I think one of the biggest ways that we can support and advocate for seniors in this population is just education. We need to educate the next generation. The sandwich generation, are busy. They have their own lives. They've got their own stuff going on, and now they're caring for aging loved ones. And it's a lot to take on. And I think that if you're not prepared and you don't know what it's actually about, is a huge undertaking. We see even like being in the industry and knowing everything that we do, we still hit obstacles and roadblocks and confusing points, and ever want anyone to feel like that we work with. So we've really leaned into this educational concept since we met you. Aging Parent Solution is all about senior education, and that's what our social media platform is doing, is we're trying to educate on all aspects of senior care in general. And really, home care agency in our assisted living really just ties right into that.
And I appreciate you highlighting all of this, Sarah, just because I wrote down the power of marketing. And it's not just marketing to broadcast a message, it's about providing ways people can pull in information. And I think we saw that on the healthcare side of things going through COVID, how marketing switched to an information resource. It's really highlighting and guiding people towards those next steps. Think about shifting the narrative. Where do you see senior living operators can really push forward to those next steps?
I think understanding truly like benefits and what senior living is, right? The importance is, connection piece and the support piece and independence piece. I think that there's just a stigma still to this day about what assisted living is all about. Has improved drastically since the nursing home days and all of that. But I still think that, we're working with our aging loved ones, we're still going to get that pushback, right? And then you have fear and guilt and uncertainty and all of these other things that are at play. And it really just can muddy up the waters about making a decision and doing the best thing for your loved one. And so it's clearing all of that out to get to the root of really what's important.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for adding that. I think that's really critical. Bri, real quick, as Sarah's speaking, I like to get your feedback on how do you quarterback a cohesive message? You know, you're the one that really manages all this. What's your advice to other marketers in the space?
I think a lot of this, it's a tough conversation to have about your aging loved one, right? The next steps. And I think being able to share wealth, share resources, share tips, share information with others, just talk about it. I really lived or worked in the senior living industry. I didn't know much about anything. And now that I do, I find myself talking about it a lot more and sharing the resources that are at my fingertips. So just kind of breaking that barrier and just opening up the conversation and letting people know that you this kind of stuff. So it's easier to talk about.
Thank you for adding that. That's great. And Ally, last thing, what's your advice on storytelling? Because you do a great job with it.
Thank you. So I think you're right with it has to feel authentic and intentional. I think with intentional storytelling, that's where you can really see the heart behind a business. And then when you see that, that's when you can build that type of trust. So being authentic, meeting people where they're at in that moment, in that day. Sometimes we pivot our plan. Sometimes a video becomes a photo and vice versa. But really, it's about how to tell the story and how to make the person feel comfortable as well. So sometimes I will just simply talk first before we even get to the recording, just to build that trust.
Yeah. And highlighting people's stories, that's the key. You know, it's the resident stories, the staff stories. There are so many stories to unpack here. And I'm so glad that you're willing to share your stories today. Thank you for that. When I look at my notes, and we'll wrap it up. First, tell authentic stories, not generic ones. Align marketing efforts across all channels. Focus on the full journey, not just the move in. And also lead with service and empathy. And I just feel like if we can pull all this together, those are just a winning formula. Thank you all for being a part of this. Now, part of the Shift the Narrative campaign is to others that you're seeing do good work in the space. And I want to highlight Tom Sanders, Shannon Novak, Heather Terhart, and Charlie Schultz. Please tell us how you all are shifting the narrative. This has been such a great conversation. Thank you again for joining us.